settle this.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Settle This, the show that you probably didn't see the couple minutes that we had just a few minutes ago, or an hour ago now. We had some technical difficulties, and we got through about halfway through round one when I realized that there was no audio from our two competitors. So, and I do want to show a little bit of the intro again, because I did put a lot of a day or two of work into creating these fighting screens and doing all that. So we're going to reintroduce the guys, so since you didn't even hear them, and we're going to kind of do the beginning of the show, but we are skipping round one and moving into round two because the guys kind of already debated it, and I don't want them to like re-debate things that they already did, because I feel that's kind of weird. But let's introduce my fact checker for this week. It is Jaxon. Say what's up, Jaxon.
Sorry, you just caught me checking some facts right here.
The same bit from before. He scripted.
I only have the one bit, Adam.
Anyone who was watching previously.
Made the
bit. Anyone who was watching previously was like, "What was that?" And now they're like, "Okay, get it."
That's for everyone that missed it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. What are your thoughts on today's match and these two guys? You've already watched a little bit of a round one, so what's your thoughts on these guys competing today?
Oof, they are on fire today, Adam. I am seeing some major competitiveness. Stuff I haven't seen since the Coliseum. All right,
since the days of Troy.
They're going at it. Facts,
nice.
Films, television shows. I'm excited to see where it goes. The blood has been shed.
Beautiful. And I did want to talk a little about what the show is, just in case you stumbled across it or you're like, what the heck has Adam been posting about? Let's Settle This is a movie nerdy debate show where we debate topics like movies, TV, streaming, and video games. And we're going to be debating a couple cool topics, like, well, a topic that we sort of missed, which would have been best Nickelodeon TV show. You guys missed an amazing debate. But what's the best 90s action star, and did Nope work, and a couple more. So I hope you guys stick around and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We won't hopefully not have too many screw ups, but let me introduce our competitors. And first one up is Brandon. Say what's up, Brandon.
Hey guys, so excited to do this again. Battling a good, talented person, Max. I'm excited for this. But yeah, we had some technical difficulties. This is the beginning of the channel. It's to be expected. We will get better. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, I did. I recently moved to a new house, and I guess somewhere in the move, something happened with the audio of this computer. Don't know what happened. Very strange. But anyways, let's run over to my good friend and the actor in my fourth short film, Just Like the Butterfly. It's Max. Say what's up, Max.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? I'm excited to be here. I hate when that happens, Adam. You move houses and audio is gone. There's no communication whatsoever.
It's a typical problem for most Americans in this country. They move houses and audio is just gone from their streaming. I don't know what it is. It was very strange. I don't want to be judged for it. Okay, mother. We're gonna move into round two. Round one, we're just gonna mark up as a fail altogether. So let's move into round two, and we did a coin toss, and I believe Max won that coin toss. So we're gonna start with Brandon going into round two. So let's show you know what? Let me get to know our fighters. Let's show that real quick. Sorry, everybody. There's something going on. Anyways, it was a great title screen. It was a great title screen that I made. That's for some reason freezing up. You got to believe me that it was great. Anyways, weird. Okay. Let's move into round two, which is what is the best 90s action star? And starting off this topic is Brandon Bonnette. Brandon, who was your pick?
My pick is Jackie Chan. He's the greatest 90s action star. That's where he got his stardom. He'd been in movies from the 70s to the 80s, but the 90s is what really brought him into the spotlight. He is one of the best fighters on film. And if we're going action stars, just strictly the 90s, he blew up the 90s, like so much so that movies that he made, Hollywood was ripping off or making their own versions of. But he starred in so many classics that are just a marvel to see, like what he can do with his body and all the stunts that he does. Like, he is the action star of the 90s.
Beautiful. And Max, who was your pick?
I chose Nicolas Cage. We're talking about Face Off, talking about Con Air, The Rock. I chose Nicolas Cage because he can give you comedy, a heart-wrenching performance, and just pure insanity in the same role. You really never know what you're going to get with him, because he's always just pushing the boundaries of his acting. He's always doing something new. He's just and also a lot of people don't know this, but he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Jaxon, where were you on that fact? I didn't see you. That was
right,
your time to shine.
Sorry, I'm taking notes. Dude.
All right, guys.
I can only do like one thing at a time, Adam.
Yeah, clearly this computer can only do one thing at a time because it couldn't even play the intros for these guys. All right. You guys can duke it out. So, Brandon, what's your thoughts on Nicolas Cage, that pick?
Well, Face Off, The Rock, Con Air, all great action movies. Nicolas Cage wasn't an action star in the 90s. In the 90s is when he got his Academy Award, when he was working with David Lynch, he's working with Martin Scorsese. Like, he was the actor at the time. If we're saying best 90s action, like, the reason The Rock is so good is The Rock could have starred Jean-Claude Van Damme or whoever. They got talented actors to be in these action movies, which is really smart because more pool, more money. But if we're talking action star, dude, Jackie Chan, New Line, took a chance on and bought a movie called Rumble in the Bronx, brought it here because of Rumble in the Bronx. We got flooded in the VHS market and in the theater of Hong Kong action movies. Like, he started a movement to where Hollywood started ripping off. They brought John Woo over to direct Face Off. That's how much, like, if it wasn't for Jackie Chan, we wouldn't have Face Off. Nicolas Cage is a very talented actor, but I wouldn't say he was really an action star until he started doing stuff like Ghost Rider, that followed by Knowing, Bangkok Dangerous. That's when he became an action star. Jackie Chan was the action star of the 90s and until the early 2000s with the Rush Hour sequels. But he is, like, if we're talking action stars, he is the action star. Nicolas Cage is an actor, especially in that form of his. I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan, but what he was doing, like really good movies, where Jackie Chan, he was doing action. Super Cop was such a hit, and people didn't even know that it was a third part of a police story movie. They just put it in cinemas in America. It was like, hey, here's a Jackie Chan movie, and people went and saw it, and it was a huge hit. So that's my argument.
We are taking points off for versatility because he can act. Is there no space for acting in an action film? Just because he made multiple films during that decade, he's not an action star?
No, he's an actor. He's not an action star until later. Like, and I'm not saying like that's what we're debating is action star. Like, if you were to ask someone who's a bigger action star, Jackie Chan or Nicolas Cage, I guarantee you they would say, "Oh, Jackie Chan, 100%." Because Nicolas Cage really wasn't known as that. He was known as the weird guy to take weird roles. Wild at Heart, I think, is his best film, and that is from the 90s. Like, we're talking action movies. Like, honestly, Bruce Willis would have been a better choice, or Jean-Claude Van Damme. They actually made action movies through the 90s, or even more John Travolta with Broken Arrow, John Woo again. Like, no, like, Nicolas Cage was an actor. Like, he hadn't really found his niche and still hasn't to this day. That's why he's such an interesting actor, but he is not an action star of the 90s.
Okay, Brandon, let's hear from you, Max. Why did you pick Nick Cage, and why do you believe that it's a better choice than Jackie Chan?
Well, no, like I said, I just thought versatility. Jackie Chan's great. I think, like you said, all the things you said are right, and not to mention his martial arts style of using the surroundings and things like that more than just being stronger or better or more trained. I really enjoy Jackie Chan. I just thought Nicolas Cage, like I said, could give you versatility. He could make you cry in a film. He could, and to say he's not an action star, I don't think that's fair. You can't say Travolta's an action star over Nicolas Cage. I don't think. What do you think, Brandon?
I would just say at that time, Cage wasn't known as an action star. Like, we're arguing the best 90s action star. Travolta had done Broken Arrow, White Man's Burden. He'd done a few different action movies, more so than Cage. I think before that, the only action movie Cage had done was Firebirds with Tommy Lee Jones from 1989, which was a huge Top Gun knockoff. Like, he was more known for Moonstruck, for Wild at Heart, for like all these different films. And yeah, he did Face Off, he did The Rock, he did Con Air, and they're all really good movies that I think by casting him in there, he is a better actor for it. I totally agree with you. Like, he is versatile in that. I think that's why those movies are better than they should be, because The Rock, you got Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. That's a great team up. Dude, my grandmother went and saw that movie because Sean Connery was in it. Like, you know what I mean? She didn't go to it for an action movie. He elevates these action movies. I'm saying Jackie Chan, there's a great one for Who Am I from 1998 that is so, like, the stunts that he does in that will blow your mind more so than Super Cop. And then he ends up launching a comedy franchise, Rush Hour, in 1999. I still stand by Rush Hour is a great buddy cop movie, and it's Jackie's charisma and charm. He does have acting when he's in the right role, and he had those right roles in the 90s.
Jaxon, real quick, can you give me, while we have a little time, can you get Nick Cage's 90s action films box office versus what Jackie pulled in the 90s? Is that possible to pull for me?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Max, back to you.
No, I'm good. I've stated my case. Can I tell him now, or is it?
No.
Am I allowed to?
No. Let's not talk about Bruno. Let me get some. Let's get some box office, because I'm curious. Was Jackie Chan a big star? Like, well, who was bigger of a star in the 90s? In terms of action, so that's what I'm kind of.
The bigger star would honestly be Nicolas Cage.
That's what I'm curious about.
Biggest action star. Oh, I bet Nicolas Cage. He won his Academy Award.
I'm just curious. It's nothing. It's
many movies.
It's not Max said this. I'm just curious who it was. Just out of my own curiosity,
right,
I heard y'all debating.
See.
Curious of like who had bigger movies. Was Jackie Chan in the public eye till Rush Hour, which is at the tip of the 90s? That's when he crossed over into the public.
Well,
general public.
Bronx was like his first hit from New Line.
Was it a direct to VHS?
No, it went to theaters. I went and saw it with my brother in the theater.
Because we all saw the blockbuster boom of Jackie Chan. He like moved in there with that. Remember he had that Egyptian one? What was that called? Like First Strike or something? Like one of those ones he's like in Egypt.
First Strike. No, the Egyptian one is Operation Condor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so. Okay. What do you got?
Con Air made $224 million at the box office.
Okay.
Yeah. The Rock. Let's see. The Rock made 134 million. Sorry, 134 million.
34,000. Jeez.
Con Air made more than.
Yeah.
Con Air made more than The Rock.
That's
wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
Just think about how. I mean, I've never even seen The Rock, but I've seen the Con Air like multiple times. You know what I'm saying? That's how much it got.
How silly Con Air is compared to The Rock. They're both very silly movies, but like Con Air, I feel like is almost like a B movie, like a B kind of what would you call them, like drive-in, like it's a fun movie, but I didn't think it made more than The Rock. Wow.
I know. You put the bunny back in the box.
Oh God, I love that.
Put the bunny. What else you got?
And then Face Off made Face Off's box office was 245 million.
245. Wow, that's the biggest
Yeah.
of those three. So what do we got for
Yeah.
what do we got for Jackie?
All right, let's see. For Jackie Chan,
So that's almost $500 million that he made.
Yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
because he's an amazing actor and he draws in a crowd.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and he was in
Nice.
action films as well.
He was, but he was also in dramatic and great movies, and not considered an
We're
action
not
star
talking about
until
those
he did
movies right
Ghost
now,
Rider.
Brandon.
While-
We're not talking
while-
about those movies.
While Jackson wraps
Talking
this
about
up,
action movies.
let me ask one last little question. Maybe you guys could talk about in terms of who do you guys feel like your parents would be more inclined to go see a movie from either of these guys right now? Who would be in line out of your parents? So the older generation, would they be lining up to see a Jackie Chan film that released today or a Nick Cage film?
Nick Cage just released a film.
Nick Cage all the way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially with
Yeah.
his renaissance that he's had since Mandy. Like, dude, my dad watched Mandy.
So you don't think your parents would rush out to see a Jackie Chan film right now?
My dad would rush out to see Rush Hour 4 in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But
I know
Jackie
that,
did a film
like,
as well, where he
Rush
plays
Hour
the-
4 or Shanghai Dawn, if they ever do that. I know, like, my parents would rush out for those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my
Okay.
dad would see a Nick Cage movie before for some reason. I don't remember him being a Jackie Chan fan. It's the weird thing because we were really into him. What do you got, Jackson?
Okay, Rumble in the Bronx made 76 million
Okay.
box
That was
office.
an independent New Line movie, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying. We're talking action star. That's pretty damn good.
I need to know, Brandon, for myself.
Rush Hour made
God.
244 million.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a big one.
That's
That's way more
That's
than I
later-
thought it would make.
that's later 90s, of course.
Yeah, that's at the tip.
But
The tip of the
Yeah.
tip.
let's
Is that the only
see.
ones that released?
Yeah, honestly,
US?
there's not a ton of.
I didn't think he really blew into our
Yeah,
market.
He was more on the VHS market. Like, I remember renting movies, but First Strike played in theaters, Twin Dragons played in theaters. Because I remember going to see him. Like, some of his movies were shown in theaters, but a lot of it was because Rumble in the Bronx blew up so big that's when they started importing, like, his Drunken Master movies over and stuff like that.
That's what I was curious about, is if Rush Hour at the tip of the 90s was his biggest
Yeah,
explosion
Because-
into the scene. Like, we were watching before Rush Hour, but I think his general audience explosion was Rush Hour, I think. Or were you
yeah.
going to say,
Once
Jackson?
the 2000s hit, it's year 2000, Shanghai Noon. 2001, Rush Hour 2.
Right.
2002, The Tuxedo. Shanghai Night.
His franchise movies.
Almost like you could argue that he was more of a 2000s action star.
Yeah,
Action
that's
star of the 2000s rather than the 90s.
Well, he's been around since the 70s.
Of course, yeah.
We're talking 90s, and if we're talking action star again, he's still done way more action movies than Nicolas Cage has. Like,
But as we said about SpongeBob, it's not about the quantity; it's about the quality, my friend.
I don't remember that.
neither does the public, as it's a private link now. All right, we're gonna call the
But it is
match.
the quantity that you got out of it was fantastic. Like, his
We're
movies were awesome. Like, he gave really good quality. I thought.
We're gonna call the match right there. I think that's a good spot to call that. Jackson, what's your thoughts on these two picks from these two guys?
Honestly, going in, I thought I had, it's, of course, I have to be impartial and just go with the arguments, but,
Yes.
going right from the beginning, I'm like, Nicolas Cage, right? Given the arguments that I've heard, it's been really tough because
Yeah.
honestly, they both given really good arguments for their guys. I like both of the arguments. I think if I had to go with one right now, I'd probably go Nick Cage. I think that last point about it being about it being more of a 90s style question, and seeing that most of his bigger films that were the bigger ones that we think of whenever we think of Jackie Chan were more in the 2000s. I think that kind of sealed the deal for me.
Right.
But I was going Jackie Chan for pretty much that entire that entire runtime up until then.
What's do you have any tidbits or facts or anything fun for this round?
It's funny that you mention it, Adam. Because as a matter of fact, I do. It's almost like we plan for these things.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Did you know that Nicolas Cage is in massive amounts of debt?
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. I'm just messing. No, Nicolas Cage, which I didn't know this until actually frighteningly not too long ago, is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
Is he really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
he's a Coppola.
That's a fun tidbit.
Yeah, and he chose his name because of the Marvel character Luke Cage.
Did he really?
Because he loves the character of Luke Cage.
Good fact. Good fact.
Isn't that cool?
Any on our boy Jackie Chan?
Absolutely. You think I didn't do my homework on this, Adam? You are fatally mistaken.
Bringing the heat. Bringing the heat.
Yeah. I spent a full 10 minutes before we started shooting doing this, all right? No, Jackie Chan, of course, we all know, performs his own stunts. But in the act of performing his own stunts, he has broken his nose 3 times, his ankle once, most of the fingers in his hands, and both cheekbones and his skull.
Yay.
Yeah, and he has a permanent hole in his head from a stunt when filming Armor of God.
A film
which came out in the 90s, and that's called dedication.
I said the film that no one's ever seen.
I'm seeing it. You can't say no one's ever seen it.
Brandon, you're not the everyone I'm referring to.
He also expects all of his coworkers to perform their own stunts as well.
Does he really?
Which is interesting. Depending on who you're acting with.
Yeah, he's like, I'm expecting you to do your own
I'm going to
stunt.
do it.
You better be
You're going to do it.
I guess that's why he doesn't work like Dame Judi Dench.
Yeah, Danger. There's been some heated things with him and Chris Tucker over this, I think. I don't think they got along in Rush Hour 1, funny enough. Yep. Anyways, let's get down.
And he sings on the.
I think you can even tell in the bloopers on Rush Hour that they don't get along.
Yeah.
You can tell there's times when they're annoyed with each other.
Especially Chris Tucker with his phone on the whole time. Anyways, let me get down to who I think won this round. Round 1/2, I think, is going to come down to who I think brought the best argument. And going into this, I thought for sure Jackie Chan was going to take it for me. And Brandon saying that Nick Cage is not an action star. I was, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Whenever Max sent this into me, I was like, Nick Cage is not an action star. But hearing Max's argument, saying he's more versatile, which is true. Jackie Chan is not bringing much more to the screen other than his body destroying it, which is awesome. But when you are talking about someone delivering a powerful performance or these things like that, I mean, even like the image I used for the thumbnail, he looks so crazy in that. It's just he looks insane. And that's from, I think, Face Off is where I got that picture from.
Yes.
And once we started breaking it down, I don't know if Jackie Chan was a star yet, if we're talking about star, until the 2000s. So when you break down the minutia of it all, I think that Max, with his argument, kind of came in with some heavy hits. I think takes the first point. Congratulations, Max.
Thank you.
Good job.
Sweet. Let's move on to round 2/3, and hopefully this will play. So, and it is not playing. Sorry, everybody. Round 3, which is, did Nope, the film that just came out, Jordan Peele's Nope, did it work? Was it, in what we mean by work is, did it, how would you guys define that question, Nope? What would you guys, not Nope, but did it work? How would you guys define that? Did it make sense? Did it work for you? Does it hold up after you leave the theater and the 5 minutes have gone by and you start thinking about it for a second? That's what I think about when I think about did it work. So that's what we're discussing today. And starting it off is Brandon Bonnette kicking it off for us. Did Nope work?
Shouldn't it be Max?
Oh, sorry, Max. Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, it worked. It worked beautifully. Yeah, if you're talking about leaving the theater and thinking about it, I haven't stopped thinking about this movie since I saw it. It's shot beautifully in IMAX, which was on loan from, I believe, Christopher Nolan, was it? It looks like a Spielberg film. I think the themes play out beautifully, and I'm a big fan of trusting your audience. And Peele has gone through this whole media saying he just wanted to make a movie and not to think too much into it, things like that. I call BS on that. There's so many details in this film. There's so much symbolism. I don't buy that for a second. The themes of how we treat pretty much everyone in the movie industry, from the allegory of animals that we see so many times, to kid actors, to really anyone in the industry, how we just chew them up and spit them out, and we use them until we don't need them anymore. I thought came off amazing, and you get this great cast of characters that show different, I guess, different consequences to that would be a good way to put it. I think Ricky, or Jupe is his character's name in it, who was on the sitcom, is probably the best example of that. The kid actor who glorifies his trauma and keeps a shrine of this horrible thing that happened to him, to the point where we can spoil, right? We're allowed to spoil.
Yeah. Spoiler, everybody.
Okay.
If you haven't seen No Believe.
The point where he even remembers it wrong, remembers him giving knuckles to the chimpanzee that had killed everyone, which I'm guessing did not happen, that he's just glorifying this, and he doesn't even learn his lesson. He's still using animals and in the wrong way, and pays the ultimate price for it. I think that chasing the shot was a fun sub-theme of, I believe the director in the film says to Emerald, who wants to get in the film industry, that on the first phone call they have, he says, that mountain you're trying to climb, you're never going to reach the top of it. That mountain's always going to be there, something along those lines. And you get to see that for him. He dies getting the shot. I love that. And just the originality of the film, the reveal of the monster. When they use the wacky inflatable, those things, because they have eyes on them, I thought that was really brilliant. And the barbed wire as well, of Angel surviving because he wrapped himself in barbed wire, I thought was brilliant. Just across the board too, the performances are nuts. It's really great to see. I really love Keke Palmer's character, but yeah, I'm blown away by this film, and it just solidifies that Jordan Peele is a genius. It's like the man is just brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I would say about it.
And Brandon, you are saying it didn't work, so let's hear your opening for that.
Nope. It's very, very. I'm. The more I think, trying to think how to word this. The problem for me with Nope is it's a great looking movie. It looks great. The acting is great. The story, though, I think is problematic. Like, my biggest problem with it was, and while watching this, I didn't really feel this. It was only till after, but I remember watching it, and the jump from the Keke Palmer and Dio Kalua for jumping to them to photograph the UFO, I was like, wait a minute, why? Like, how did they come up with that? Like, in this movie, I felt like characters made decisions that I just didn't agree with as an audience, where it's just like, oh, no, just go with it. It's Jordan Peele, and it's a movie. Like, there's subtext, because like you said, he's like, oh, I just want to make a movie. No, he didn't. He's trying to say something, but I think he failed at that. I don't think there's any really substance to this movie. I don't understand the whole Gordy's home. I think could be taken out of the movie, and the movie would work the exact same. Like, it wouldn't change anything, any of the characters' decisions. My favorite character, the cinematographer, after watching it, I'm so upset with, I was like, wait a minute, he was so obsessed with getting this perfect shot that he died for it, and probably ruined the film that captured this perfect shot. That doesn't seem logical to me. Like, then there were just, like I said, just character decisions that don't agree with me. I feel like it was marketed more like, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, how everybody marketed that as a horror movie. But like the marketing for this, I thought we were going to get something amazing from Jordan Peele that I was like, oh, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. No, we saw it. And that's what it is. Like, I thought the alien was a big letdown. Like, it's a giant butthole that's just pooping out stuff that it can't digest. Like, I just thought there could have been so much more. The acting was great. The shots were great. It's a good looking movie. But as a whole, I feel like Jordan Peele failed on this one. Like, I just did not get it. Like, I don't get the Gordy Holmes. I get the Predator, but the more I think about it, it's kind of like Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. He put a bunch of weird stuff in there for you to speculate and talk about, but there's like meaning behind everything. Watch that documentary, Room 237 or whatever, but that everybody's hinting at. With what he put in this movie, what he's hinting at, I don't get. It doesn't make sense.
Great. Max, what do you got a return for that? Return to sender?
Yeah, definitely. Got a few points. First of all, the jump to filming the alien. If you look at Keke Palmer's character, Emerald, it's quite clear that she's constantly selling herself. She's willing to do anything to get into this business. That not only that, but they need to save the farm as well. It makes sense that they would do this, that if something like this was happening, in terms of the Gordy's home being cut out, I think, first of all, I think thematically this film works really well, and I think that it gets its point across really well. And I think Gordy's home is the biggest piece of that. I think it really drives it home. And like I said earlier about how we treat animals in the industry, how we treat kids, you can look at Jupe's character, who has literally been chewed up after Gordy's home. He didn't have a career after that. He's literally a two-bit con man in a way of running this little town. So I don't see where you could cut Gordy out of the film and it worked better. If in that case, you might as well cut everyone but the siblings out of the film and just make it about OJ and Emerald, which I think would not be as strong of a film. I think that a lot, in terms of character decisions, like you said, I think you're seeing more. I do think that the film director is more of a caricature of just trying to get that point across. Like I said earlier about how far are you willing to go for your art? Is that healthy? Are you willing to die for it? And is that the right thing to do? I think that all these characters show different, like I said, perspectives and consequences of the way that Hollywood and the industry, the film industry as a whole, treat people. And I think it gets that point across really, really, really well. So I'm just kind of confused on where you missed that, or where you didn't find that to be cohesive, or or hit home.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. Your thoughts?
Okay. Well, like the Gordy's home, the reason you said it, he's a two-bit con man. He could have just been a two-bit con man, and still that story would have made sense. Adding the Gordy's home and the whole, I think that's just Jordan Peele. Like, I'm gonna make this weird to be weird. The upstanding shoe makes no sense to me. And then talking about characters making decisions, you're saying, oh, let's photograph a UFO. Oh no, let's go get a job to save the family farm. Like, let's go do that. Like, I just don't see characters jumping to be like, oh, we'll photograph something that they're not even sure of. He does a 6-month time span where we don't know anything that happened with these characters. So am I supposed to assume that they knew the whole time that it was up there, or that there was something going on? He does not tell us that. That's why I have problems with the decisions that they make. And you said take away the siblings, or take away everybody but the siblings. I think you could, because the guy, Angel, I thought was a useless character. Like, there was really no development with him. Like, I didn't think he worked. Like, he didn't really add anything to the movie. He didn't really bring anything. There was no connection that he made with either the brother or the sister. Like, I felt like he was just kind of a nuisance to be there. And then at the end of the day, when you find out it is what they're saying, Jordan Peele doing Spielberg. I don't see that at all. Like everyone's kind of said, oh, it's Spielberg doing Jaws. I guess if that's what you want to say, but that's not the movie. The first hour of that movie is not that movie. So you're talking about the last half of that movie. The first hour of that movie, it takes a little while to get going. It makes no sense to me why a porcelain horse can look straight up at the UFO and it gets taken. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like porcelain is material. Like it's not eyes. It's not real. Like so that creature's smart enough to be up there and know what to eat and know what to devour, but it doesn't know a fake statue. It doesn't know what Daniel Kaluuya put in his hood on with the green eyes on the back. It doesn't know the difference in that. Like they're just, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. And the more I question it, the more the movie falls apart for me.
Last thoughts, Max?
Yeah, I think I don't know what else I could tell you to help it make sense. I think that, like I said, the Gordy's Home thing works. I think that it makes complete sense that they would film it. I think the points that I've made, I don't know what I could tell you to change your mind, Brandon. I think we may just have to agree to disagree on this one. But I definitely think it works. I think that and the creature does learn.
You think every part, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. You think every part of Note works? Like there's no problems with it. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
See, I disagree completely. I even think maybe critics disagree, which if we want to talk about critics, even though it's still 80%, amazing job, or 82, 87, I can't remember what it landed at. It's his lowest one compared to Us and Get Out. Like there's even like a lot of the reviews are coming out and be like, yeah, it's interesting. Do I get it? No. That's a lot of the reviews that I've read, and I've done a deep dive on theories and what people are trying to say. And I feel like it's Jordan Peele trying to execute a really big idea that he doesn't know what it is, because it just doesn't make sense what they do. The UFO shits out blood all over the house. The police are over at the couple miles over at the ranch area. They don't think to go look at that house over there. Like it's just not logical. Like they're like, oh yeah, all these people disappeared. I'm not going to go look over here though. Like none of that makes sense. And then the introduction of the TMZ character, I thought was lazy. I was like, oh, you weren't on Google Maps, and so I decided to stroll over here. Shouldn't the police been there first? I think they would have. Like, it just falls apart. Like it's all doesn't make sense to me.
Question. You just said it has what percent on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think like an 80 something.
Jaxon, what we got?
82%.
82.
Yeah,
82%. Yes.
It worked.
Which is an amazing score, but that's also showing that it's not connecting with everybody. He's going from 99% to 94%.
Wait, hold
that's
on.
a drop.
If you created a film,
And plus, also, I think people are kind of afraid to say something bad about Jordan Peele.
If you made a film and 18% of people didn't like it, you would say that film didn't work?
No, I'm talking about the critics. I'm not saying me as a critic, it didn't work, so therefore it failed. Just because the critics gave it a positive review doesn't mean it works.
But
like,
you also get audience
there's many movies that get very positive reviews that I don't like.
Jaxon, what's the audience score?
This movie is not connecting with people like his other movies have.
What's the audience score, Jaxon?
What's the audience score in Rotten Tomatoes?
The tomato meter is 82%. The audience score is 68%.
Oof.
That's a drop. That's a drop.
That is.
I'm just saying, people are confused by this. It doesn't make sense. It falls apart. Characters make decisions that I just feel like what he set up in this universe, in this world that I'm watching this movie, they don't, like, I just don't get how you jump to this conclusion. And then also with the family, what was the point of the lady or the female co-star that got beat to death or almost beat to death and is disfigured? Her character was there for no reason. He just did that to do that. That doesn't make sense.
Well,
why was that character there, and then why was nothing ever done with it?
Yeah, Max,
I think what he's trying to make the point of is that they still haven't learned their lesson. They're still feeding into this abuse of animals, and they pay the ultimate price for it. That's what I would say to that, to why she's there.
But that's just speculation. Like, you don't know. Like there should have been something more fleshed out with that character. Just like apparently the character Angel, he saw the actor's audition, the actor audition, and he expanded the role because he was so impressed with his acting. He expanded that role for what? That character could have been in and out and gone, and he did not add anything more to it.
I think he provided comedic relief. I thought the chemistry between him.
I thought Keke Palmer was pretty much the comedic relief. Like,
that,
he had the humor there. Like, it just.
A lot to the film, to be honest with you. Especially in a, like you said, if the film was so slow moving in the first half, I think, Angel is very relevant to keep the plot moving, to keep people engaged of that comedic element and the chemistry between the three of them. And I think he showed a lot.
There's really no chemistry. Like, there's definitely chemistry between Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya. Like that part where they high five and they're all excited. I felt that moment. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm still not excited about this movie, but that was a great moment. Angel's just standing off to the side. Like, Angel could be out of the movie. It still wouldn't work. Like, it's still like he didn't add anything. Antlers Holmes, I love that actor. Did not do anything. Like, it doesn't make sense.
What were you saying, Max? What did you say?
I'm sorry.
No, if he's not in the movie, how did they find out that the alien's there without the time lapse? How did they set up the cameras?
It's Daniel Kaluuya that he's the one that notices. He goes, have you noticed that cloud hasn't moved? And then he comes running out. I feel like because there's that 6-month span and what happened with David Keith, he already kind of knows about it, just doesn't understand it. But Jordan Peele doesn't tell us that. That's what I have to assume from that character, because they have that line where it's an aircraft lost some kind of, however, what the accident was. He knows that wasn't the case, so he's already on to something that's going on up there. You don't need the Angel character to figure it out.
All right.
It's almost like he doesn't script it out and tells you, but trusts you to see it and shows it to you. That whole trusting your audience thing that I was talking about earlier.
That's good. We'll stop there.
You can't trust the audience. Like, I can't trust you if you're setting up these rules that I don't completely understand and asking me to just go with it. Like,
but you've seen his previous films.
Oh, I've seen all his movies multiple times.
So this isn't the first time he's played that trick.
Oh, well, if we're gonna go back to his other stuff, do I need to stop, Adam?
Yes, we're pausing, or we're moving on. We're moving on. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
I love you, Brandon.
Jaxon, let's go over to you, our fact checker. What do we got? Any cleanup? Any? This is a messy fight for you. What's your thoughts?
Oh boy! Wow. That was a lot. All right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of notes here. I don't even know where to start on this. No, that was crazy. And honestly, both arguments were very well put together. It was hard to follow it a lot of the time because there was a lot going on. But I'll say, for the most part, I am not seeing any factual problems. Right. I think everyone was pretty factually on point on this one. As far as arguments go, it was back and forth the entire time for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard as someone that really enjoyed Nope.
Someone who really enjoyed the film. Yeah.
As someone that liked it.
This broadcast has a divide here. You and Max enjoyed the film. Me and Brandon walked out of the film enjoying it. But as we made our way back to my old house, we were like, but did we? And as it...
Not even to your house. 5 minutes outside the theater, we're already like, did that? Like...
It crumbled. But the more I looked into the movie, I think the more I appreciated it. But I think talking with you, I was bothered by the movie in a lot of ways. But when I started watching and even hearing Max right now talk about the movie, and I guess that was my issue with it, is like if it takes if there's more theme than story, I think it destroys your story. If you're trying to add more, inject the theme so much that I think it hurts your story. So that's why I have issues with it. But we're going on the arguments today. And I think, Max, you had these really hard punches during this fight that actually won me over in a lot of ways. And your last one being the solidifying this entire debate for me on this, which was he wanted you to for the audience to trust him. And I think he's earned that, Jordan has, through his 2 other films. And I think with you saying that, your last little point earned you this point. So good job, Max.
Good argument, Brandon.
Good job,
Thank
Brandon.
you.
Jackson, who were you going to go with on between these 2 guys?
Oh, it's hard. It's really hard. You know, I get Brandon's points and I get Max's points. I probably would also go with Max. It's so hard on this one. It's really, yeah. I don't envy the person. I don't envy Josh, who usually does this job whenever I'm not here.
It's your job now. It's your job now.
Oh, is it? It's my job.
Yeah, Josh just quit. So it's you're full time.
Oh, I see. Gonna have to
welcome.
Gonna have to change some scheduling. No. I really thought everyone's arguments were really good. Brandon, as like I said, as someone that really enjoyed the movie, I can see definitely where Brandon's coming from.
Yeah.
In a lot of his arguments, and I thought that there was a couple of points from Max that were kind of a little more, like you said, heavy hitting, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though Brandon had more points to make, yeah. I think I probably would have leaned Max on this one as well, as much as I want to give Brandon a hug.
Yeah. For me, I'm still in the category of it did not work, but I think Max just had some points in there that made me. I mean, I'm not convinced that this movie works. I think the themes still outplay the story, but Max won that round. And we're moving into our 3rd/4th round, which is what is the worst comic book movie? And we're starting with Max. Is that right, Max?
Oh, I think it's Brandon.
Brandon, sorry, I'm mixed up. My bad.
Brandon. And we're going to Brandon.
Brandon, worst comic book movie. What did you pick?
Went with the Ben Affleck disaster Daredevil.
Nice.
Man, it's coming right off the hype of Spider-Man. It just came out. Daredevil, my favorite comic book character next to Fantastic Four. I was so excited, and boy, was this a letdown. Like, they just got it completely wrong. It's from the director of Grumpier Old Men.
Oh,
so,
gosh, is it really?
You know what I mean? Like, you're like, you got that guy to do a Daredevil movie. And you fact check that, Jaxon, because I definitely had to see what else this guy had done. He also gave us the Abomination Ghost Rider as well. So he's kind of like just an awful person. Affleck sucks, and I'm an Affleck person. Like, I love Argo is one of my favorite movies. I think he's one of the best working actors today. Dude, Colin Farrell as Bullseye is an embarrassment. Poor Jennifer Garner, God, like, it's just bad. And then they play an Evanescence song 3 times in the movie. 3 times the same song. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no. Like, there's no threat. There's no fun. Like, it's terribly shot. It's just it's an insult to cinema and an insult to comic books. Like, people, like, Kevin Smith is in it. Like,
is he really?
You're just like, why? John Favreau is in this. Like, it's called a paycheck. They're like, oh, they're doing a fucking Daredevil movie? Yeah, might as well get some money for this. Like, you're just like, oh, why does this exist? It's awful. And that's why I think it's the worst comic book movie.
Great. Max, what was your pick?
I picked Fantastic Four from, I believe, 2015, was it? With Miles Teller.
Oh, is that? That's what I was going to ask you. Was which one did you pick?
Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick is what you picked.
Fan Four Stick.
I actually have a point written down that the title alone makes it the worst comic book movie with Thor as the A. But no, I felt like this movie was set up for success. I mean, like I said, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, you have fantastic actors in this, and they never were given anything to work with. Like Sue has zero character development. Like she just listens to music when she works. Like that's her personality. They get drunk and decide to go to another dimension. Like Ben isn't even a pilot in this. He's just some dude.
Oh yeah, it's just a friend.
They call him. Yeah, he's just a friend. They're like, hey, you want to go to another dimension? And yeah, like that's a really good idea while you've been drinking. And they mess up Ben so bad that it's clobbering time thing. Like it's older brother, and then it becomes his catchphrase. Like,
it's so bad.
What is that? But no, and then my biggest point is you can't see anything in the movie. In Daredevil, at least you can see it. This movie is so dark. I don't know what like.
Everyone in Daredevil can see it except for Ben Affleck because he's blind. Zinger. Oh. Okay, back over to you, Brandon. Why is Daredevil 2000? What was it? 2004? When was that? Why is Daredevil Ben Affleck worse than Fan Force?
I think it's 04. Or it might be 02, man.
Yeah, you might be right.
I don't know. Maybe a fact.
Daredevil is 03.
03, okay.
03, so we were close. Man, Fan Four Stick was awful, but I sat through the whole thing. When you really go behind the scenes of it, Josh Trank got pushed around by the studio. There's stuff that we've never seen released from it. There is a director's cut of Daredevil that is 10 times worse than the movie, and I've watched it with the commentary, trying to make sense of it. But no, like Fan Four Stick is just a bad movie. Like it's a movie, they got a indie director to come in, the studio, he wanted his vision, the studio wanted their vision, they clashed, and they put out, it's dark, you can't really see it. I will say, I did like the Doctor Doom story. There was that positive out of it. I liked the guy that played Doctor Doom. I thought he was interesting. I thought he was creepy looking. Now, the whole reason for him being there is completely stupid, but at least I got that out of it. Daredevil, you have the soundtrack. We're talking Nickelback. We're talking, we've already said Evanescence, House of Pain, and not even the jump around House of Pain, like the B-side weird Irish rap that Bullseye has. We've got shots that are so pathetic and stupid and are cringeworthy that it's not even watchable. Like I'm a person who likes watching bad movies to try to understand it. You should be upset with this movie. With Fan Four Stick, at least it got made. With all the trouble behind it, the studio was they were like, Daredevil's gonna be huge, it's gonna make so much, blah blah blah. Like they thought this was going to be a hit, and probably box office it was because it came out in February and you have nothing else to see, but it's just an abomination of a film. And like I said, Daredevil is my favorite comic book, and I said next to Fantastic Four, there's about, like, Miles Teller wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like I could have seen worse. Like the movie was just bad from beginning to end, and because there were so many cooks in the kitchen. At least it got made. You know what I mean? Daredevil got made with the sole intention of being good, and they made it awful. Like,
Max?
No, I was actually going to argue that Daredevil is so bad that it is good, that you can watch it and laugh to it and things like that. I don't find that with Fantastic Four, the 2015 one. Like, if an Evanescence song plays 3 times in a film, it's, like, just hilarious. The fact that Nickelback is on the soundtrack as well is just hilarious to me. I feel like I could watch Daredevil and laugh through it. Fantastic Four.
Well, you could say that about Fan Four Stick. If they had a Nickelback song come on, it would make it more watchable. Like, it's still shitty music. Just because it's bad music doesn't mean it's not like, like you could say that about Fan Four Stick. They should have done it. Maybe more people would have watched it.
Exactly. They should have thrown some Evanescence in there, maybe a little bit of Creed, and the movie would be better. Along with maybe just like one box light would be nice. But yeah, like
still look cool to me. I thought Dr. Doom looked really cool. Not once have you said anything looked cool in Daredevil. I'm just saying, like, nothing looks cool in Daredevil. It's all lame and
I don't
stupid.
know about that. Did you see Ben Affleck's ass in that movie? Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Is there an ass shot in the movie?
I didn't. I don't think there's an ass shot, but all right.
I'll fact check.
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you see Ben Affleck's ass.
Get us an image.
I know in the way back you see his ass.
And in
I'll
Gone
scrub
Girl.
quick, look
In the
for any
beginning,
ass.
when he gets caught sleeping with Liv Tyler.
Gone Girl too.
That's right. Yeah.
You see a little bit of his dick in it as well. Sorry, who was talking right there? Was that? Does anyone have any other points on this? Anything to wrap it up?
Daredevil sucks. Like, there's nothing good you can say about it. Like, there's nothing.
All right, let's go over to Jaxon. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
I honestly, that was an amazing matchup movie-wise,
Yes,
because they're both very bad movies.
Yes.
I've seen both all the way through. Of course, as a younger kid, whenever I watched Daredevil, I did like Colin Farrell a lot. And actually, I've got some fun trivia about that.
Great.
Daredevil is the first film in which Colin Farrell was allowed to use his native Irish accent.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Which is pretty cool. The Fantastic Four, I didn't get any fun facts about Fantastic Four because I wasn't sure which one we were doing.
That happened to me too. I was going to ask him, but I got so busy. They're all dog shit, so I was like, any of these are fine.
I'll say this: Daredevil has a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
That's way higher than it deserves. God.
Fantastic Four.
Was a different time.
Fant Four Stick has a 9%.
Oh my God.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that lower than The Last Airbender?
Last Airbender is like
you know
a 4, I think now, or somewhere in there. Maybe an 8.
Wow. Okay.
Let's find out.
Okay.
Let's find out real quick.
My thoughts are these two films are very interesting matched up because I didn't know he picked Fan Four Stick at first till he just said it. So these two films are in the booms of their respected comic book booms because you have the Spider-Man films that boomed, probably birthed this Daredevil film to even happen, to get greenlit.
For sure.
And then you have Fan Four Stick in the boom of like the rebirth of the MCU and in the grittiness.
And X-Men.
And yeah, but the grittiness too,
And
because they're trying to go for a realistic approach, which would have been The Dark Knight, and then Amazing Spider-Man being involved in that as trying to do a grittier version. But so I think what for me was the most disappointing thing about Fan Four Stick is that it was a good idea. I think it's a good concept for a movie. And I think the first half of that movie is actually pretty good. So when you see it, but the thing about Daredevil, it's just a bad movie from start to finish. But in terms
it just sucks from beginning to end.
Yeah,
like it really does. Like,
but in terms of the argument of it, I think Max had a ton of great points about saying Daredevil is so bad it's good. They should have a softbox. At least one softbox would be great for the movie because it is so dark. But I think Brandon made me laugh the most because I think his whole point's about having the soundtrack was so bad. It was so funny and Evanescence. And I think he just had some great points. And it seems like he really is coming from a place of pain with Daredevil, which I think Fan Four Stick you can kind of wash off as like, yeah, it's just a bad movie and a mix of maybe a couple bad. It's the third bad movie of Fantastic Four bad movies. Daredevil was in this kind of new rebirth of the X-Men and yada yada. You have this new birth of comic book, and then this dog shit thing comes out, and you're like, what is this? And anyways, so I think Brandon gets the point for me. Jaxon, what were you thinking?
I'm thinking Brandon as well. The thing is I agree. I think the first half of Fant Four Stick is actually decent setup. It's where they go with it afterwards that is hard. I
Right.
also feel I feel so much pain for Josh Trank on that because
Yeah, me too.
Chronicle is just one of those movies that I adore absolutely, and
It's fantastic, man.
And he's
Like,
never going
I'll
to have
be
a
honest,
career.
when I went and saw Fan
Yeah.
Fourth Dick, the first 10 minutes, I was like, I don't see what everybody's saying about this. This is really good. Then the rest of the movie happened, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, God. But at least, like, it hooks you for a minute.
Yeah.
Daredevil from scene one is just dog shit. Like, it starts with a terrible voiceover, and Ben Affleck just, oh, man, his acting got so much better, thank God. But
it's the playground scene.
Yeah.
oh, God,
Yeah.
so
It's
bad.
it's funny. It's the one that comes up. I mean, I do agree with Max that it's so bad. I don't think you can fun watch Fantastic Four though. That Fan Four
Yeah.
stick. It's not a fun watch
Yeah.
because you kind of are like.
I haven't gone back and rewatched it. I'll agree with you on that,
It's
man.
just sad. It's just
But I
sad.
have watched Daredevil a few
it's-
times.
I think it's sad because the potential is good. It's like that's a good
Totally.
idea. That's a good approach to doing that
Yeah,
movie.
I was so excited for it.
But
I
you
was
could-
so
Me too.
excited.
You could see the studio meddling in there a lot. Like you can, because the last line of the movie is like, "I think it's fantastic." The thing says or whatever, and he's like, "What did you say? Say that again." Oh,
Yeah.
what the heck? That's like a different movie. Like I don't know. Anyways,
I know.
here's our fourth round. And these guys actually don't know what this is, so I'm going to rattle off what the fourth round is, and you guys blast back to me as fast as you can. Your answer, your choice, and whoever blasts it back first will get to start first. So the question is, you guys ready?
Mhm.
Question is,
Here
who
we go.
is the best SNL cast member of all time?
Ooh.
Bill Murray.
What'd you say, Max?
Bill Hader.
Ooh,
Oh,
wow. Two
Bills.
The Bills.
Wow.
All right, so I heard Brandon first, so starting with Bill Murray. Brandon.
He's iconic. Like Bill Murray. Like he's a legend. Like in the movies, he's a legend in everyday life. You know, he's a character within himself. I feel like, and he only did one season of Saturday Night Live, and he blew up from that. Like quit the show and still made it. That's why I think like he's really cool. Like Kingpin, I think his performance is almost Oscar worthy for a Farrelly Brothers movie. Like he is so maniacal and mean and evil, and he wins at the end. Like you just like he takes these roles that really just like are good. Like he has such range from sad, dramatic, Lost in Translation to the weird Wes Anderson Life Aquatic. Like he's just had a better career. Like it's amazing. Like, and he also Ghostbusters. Like I didn't even mention that, but yeah, Bill Murray. He's a national treasure.
Sweet. And Max?
Look, I will never say a bad thing about Bill Murray. He's amazing. But I will say that, like you said, 1 year on SNL, we're talking about the best SNL cast member. Bill Hader had much more longevity. I think he's more versatile. We can look at things like Stefan or the Californians or you know, when Bill Hader breaks character in SNL, when he laughs, you laugh. You can't help it. And thinking of the things he's gone on to do too, things like Barry, which are completely out of that wheelhouse. But no, I definitely think that Bill Hader had a very versatile. The impressions are incredible. The characters he created were incredible. And yeah, I just think he's like in the same way Bill Murray is a legend. No doubt about that, but I think Bill Hader is an SNL legend, and yeah. No,
Great,
that's
Brandon.
what
Can you stick to Bill Murray's SNL?
Well, I kind of
time?
misunderstood the question on my behalf. I thought we were saying like the person who broke out of Saturday Night Live, not on Saturday Night
yeah,
Live.
just on Saturday Night Live.
Well, I would, but still, I'll still stand by Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I still think even though one season, his season's amazing. I have his best of. He did one season. He has a best of DVD because that's how good he was on there. I still think Bill Hader has more to prove. Barry's amazing, but we'll see where it goes from there. I feel like if we're talking longevity of a career, Bill Murray has nailed it. Like he's the comedic legend, and Bill Hader could hope to be compared to Bill Murray.
Okay. I'll argue that having a best of Bill Murray has nothing to do with how good he is, but that Bill Murray is marketable. Which, I mean, he was great too, but I think that even if he wasn't great on SNL, he would have his own best of because of who he is. Yeah, I think Bill Hader has proved his worth. I think he's proved that he is a comedic legend for his time.
Yeah, it took him a while to get there because he had so many seasons on Saturday Night Live. And he got to know, and he's been open about his anxiety and how nervous he was, and he got way better as the show progressed. Bill Murray just did one season, and he still progressed. Like, I feel like he came out of that better. We wouldn't have known who he was had he not gotten Saturday Night Live, because he was nobody. But Saturday Night Live made him somebody, and he was still able to keep that momentum going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wouldn't argue that Bill Murray isn't a bigger star than Bill Hader, but as an SNL cast member, I would say Bill Hader has done more for SNL than Bill Murray has.
All right, great. Jaxon, do you have any thoughts on this round?
Woo. Well, those are some great points. Once again, this episode is crazy. I will. What a way to be christened into this role! I've got to say, it's really a trial by fire here.
Yeah. That's how we do it on the network. we put you through the ringer.
You throw me straight on the floor. You're like, get to selling. All right. Let's see. As far as the points go, I'm thinking that I think Brandon made some really strong ones on, first of all, Bill being an SNL icon. He might have only been there 1 year, but I mean, whenever you think of SNL, you do think of Bill Murray. The point of Bill Hader, it took him a while to get into his prime, I thought was a good point. Even though I'm a huge Bill Hader fan, I think that is valid. I thought that and to clear things up, Bill Hader had an 8-year stint on SNL.
Right.
I looked it up. So he was on there for 8 years. I would have to say, honestly, I'd probably go with Brandon on this one, if I had to cast my vote, just because I think there was some really good points there, even though I think I personally prefer Bill Hader to Bill Murray. But yeah, I'd probably have to go Brandon.
Okay, great. For me, I have a hard time agreeing with Brandon as a choice, and I think he would agree after hearing what the question was. I think he would have chosen somebody else. But Bill Murray, I didn't even know he was on SNL, to be honest, until Brandon said that. I was like, oh, he was on SNL at some point? Because I personally just don't even like the guy as an actor. So like, I don't even care for him. So it was tough for me to like sit there and be locked in on Brandon when I'm like, I just don't even like him. And then Max with all his valid points about Bill Hader. But I think Brandon did bring the argument there that convinced me about him becoming like this iconic. I mean, I feel like Bill Hader has still got more to do on the outside of SNL. But in SNL, I agree that he was so versatile. I think will go down as SNL history. I don't know. This is tough, actually.
I know.
I'm kind of working myself out of that. I'm like, I think Max brought points like the best of DVD does not define Bill Murray. He was on there like, what? I mean, I didn't even know he was on it. I've never even seen clips from him on it. But you can't even find an SNL clip without Bill Hader a part of it, because he's made such iconic sketches and things like that. He was like opening monologue like the cold open, like every time. He was like, for 8 years he was the guy because he could do so much voices. I don't know, I'm having a tough call on this. So Jaxon,
Bill Hader was the voice of BB-8. I mean, come on.
He was, yeah. Let's see.
I know it's a hard one. I agree. It was difficult, especially like have because it's a bonus round that we didn't know what the question was going to be beforehand. It's difficult because you're not able to make a decision beforehand. You know, you don't really have the added time to be like, well, I feel this way. You know, but I did feel like I think Brandon did take it from me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to side with you on this. My bias, I think, was really sticking in there, and I would have voted for Max. So let's give it to Brandon and keep this show rolling for one more round.
All right.
One final round. This is also this is going to be off the cuff, and I actually got to look it up because I don't have it right in my brain. And based off what these guys know, gosh,
Who's the best fact checker?
in the history. Let's see. So I need to do something where you guys have two. Let's do something where you have two choices. Okay. So you got to pick one. So whoever picks, and then you got to debate your choice. Okay. Which is the better tech-based movie? Okay, you ready? Guys, ready? Social Network.
Wait, say that again.
Best tech movie. Social Network or the Steve Jobs movie with Fassbender.
Social Network.
Social Network.
Brandon got Social Network, and Steve Jobs what's it called? Jobs. One with Fassbender. Okay.
Are you talking the Ashton Kutcher one or the
no,
Michael Fassbender?
not that dog shit. The Fassbender one.
Steve Jobs.
The one I like more. The one that's one of my favorite movies of all time. All right, Brandon, you're up with Social Network.
Social Network is the tech movie. Like, it is so good. It honestly, a movie about Facebook, about starting up a social network, sounds boring on paper, but then you get the brilliance of David Fincher, Aaron Sorkin's writing, the back and forth dialogue. Man, the way that movie's shot, the score from Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, like to Eisenberg's performance, Andrew Garfield, that's what put him on the radar. Rooney Mara is only in it for a minute, but she is so memorable. The girl from 50 Shades of Grey shows up with Justin Timberlake. Like, every actor in this is so good, and like almost right before they break, just shows the brilliant and casting of what Fincher was doing. Kind of unknowns, but known enough to where we were all interested. Man, it is just a awesome movie about tech, and that's a good thing to, like, if you can make a movie about Facebook, about the invention of Facebook, interesting and so intense like that movie does, bravo. Like, it's a brilliant movie. It's a brilliant movie about tech.
All right, Max.
Well, I forfeit. I agree with you, Brandon. You are 100% right. The Social Network is the best Facebook movie. In fact, it's so good that I didn't see either Jobs movie.
Oh no, you didn't see Jobs? Oh wow.
No, never saw it.
It is.
No, I'm a huge fan of Social Network. I thought the Oscar nom
was. I will debate Jobs then.
Okay, you go ahead.
Jobs is
in your stead.
What?
Jobs is a better film. No, I don't know.
No, it's not.
It actually.
I can tell you why Jobs is not. Why I didn't go with Steve Jobs.
It actually is a better.
I love Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
it's the act structure that makes it like it's a weird movie. It doesn't flow like Social Network. Social Network is just a better movie.
It is. It absolutely is not a better movie in any. No. What are you talking about? A better? No, I don't know how to debate this right now.
Yeah, defend Steve Jobs. Come on, man, do it.
Steve Jobs, to me, it is a way better film than the Social Network, but I'm not going to debate that right now because I have no idea.
The only thing good about Steve Jobs, it's a good movie by my favorite director of all time. Best thing about it, Seth Rogen. His performance is fucking brilliant.
The act structure is
heartbreaking.
They're written by the same person. The act structure is really, really genius of how he did Jobs. I think Social Network is pretty linear.
I think that's what hurts it as a movie.
No, that's what makes it a better elevated movie. Anyways, we could go on about that, but he forfeited. I think you could have had a really good debate.
Steve Jobs. It seems like Steve Jobs has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the Social Network has a
96.
96.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me. It's a good movie, but it's not a better movie in my opinion.
It's great, dude. It's so good.
I think they're written by the same person, so like structurally they feel the same to me. That's why they were in the
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, well, you could watch. What did Sorkin get famous for? The West Wing.
West Wing.
You
Yeah.
could watch that and see Social Network. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's just the
his
way it's his
dialogue is
dialogue.
just so back and forth. It's
But
so well done.
You could talk about Kate Winslet. You could talk about Michael Fassbender. You could talk about Seth Rogen. These breakout things about these. I mean, Kate Winslet's always amazing, but I think Seth Rogen is a standout. Like
Really,
like
and
you're saying.
Divergent, she's amazing, Adam. She's
I've never
amazing
seen. I've
in
never seen
Divergent.
it. I guess that's your favorite movie, but it's your favorite series.
I've got to say, you know, I think honestly, I think the real winners are all of us for having seen Social Network and enjoying it so much.
Yeah, and you should watch Jobs. It's better than Social Network. It's a.
Are y'all gonna watch that? I know this is a side note, but have y'all heard all that stuff about Army Hammer?
Yeah.
There's like a documentary
Yeah.
coming out about him
Yeah.
exposing. Dude, I am chewing at the chaw. I'm just like, I am so ready for
Yeah,
this.
that's a
Four choice awards there, Brandon.
that's a nice negative towards the Social
I know,
Network right there. Nice downplay. Let's see if any of this winter screen work.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
gonna.
Congratulations, Brandon. Let's see if this plays.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't play. Dang it!
I'm gonna.
Oh my freaking
I'm gonna
thing!
eat that documentary up when it comes out. I'll tell you what.
I know, man, right? A good toe size, you know what I mean?
You know how I found out about that stuff was Madison from our movie Just Like the Butterfly. Our first conversation on the phone together. It was right when all his stuff was blowing up, with him being such a weirdo.
Oh, wow.
And she's the one who told me, and I was like, "What, really?" That's so weird.
Whoa.
Yeah, super crazy. Well, sorry guys about the horrible technical difficulties on today's show. I hope you guys stick around even through that. We'll try to get things a little better figured out for the future. It is sort of a challenge learning this new technology and running the show. We have a new internet provider over here in this new town that we moved to, so it seems like I've been watching the signal strength, and it seems like that's giving me issues as well, so I need to figure that out. But thank you guys so much for watching this week. Brandon won. I'm sorry I couldn't even play any of the videos that I made for that for the winners and all the
You
rounds.
worked so hard, dude. I feel so bummed for you.
Yeah, that sucks. But we'll get it all figured out for future shows.
We'll get better.
Yeah, future shows. This is our little comeback, phase 2, with rebranding and everything. This is the APS network. We're hoping to have Max on again. He was so great. I think he is a great debater, and he is also so knowledgeable about film and TV and streaming and everything. And he's an amazing actor, and I think he'd be a great voice on all of our shows that we're doing over here, including the Film Sanctuary, a show about the keeping and preserving our favorite place in the universe, which is the theater. So anyways, and I want to send a little love to our good buddy Zach, who just had a kid a couple days ago. Bud, we love you. It's gonna be a fun ride, having a baby and everything. So we're just sending a little love to you, Zach, and we hope to see you soon.
And
what'd you say?
Yes.
There's gonna be a lot more stuff happening on here.
Yes, we are doing.
Yeah.
We're doing a show with Brandon soon. 2 shows actually. Watch TV with Brandon and Teaching Brandon, which are going to be fun to do. And Jackson's show. That's not how the Force works.
That's not how the Force works.
That's right.
Exactly.
And cool. We thank you guys so much for watching this week, and we hope to see you back next time. So I'm going to run through everybody. You can give a little shout out to your socials. Brandon, where can people follow you?
Oh, I'm at No, I changed it. I'm at Brandon Aaron Bonnette on Instagram, Facebook. Follow me, add me, whatever. I just talk about movies on there. And if you live in Lubbock, Texas, come by Ralph's Records. It's a really cool record store that I work at.
Awesome, man. Max?
You can find me on Instagram at _Max Duane, Duane. And go watch the trailer for Just Like the Butterfly.
Thank you.
Please. It's so good.
Jaxon?
You can follow me on all social media on Jackson's Evil Twin. I just started a TikTok like a week ago, so I'm doing that now.
Yeah, and it's really fun.
I'm in a band.
It's really good.
Thanks. I'm working on it. But I'm in a band called Low Lives. We're like a heavier, grungy type band. If you're into that, you can check
A
that out.
great
If not,
band.
it's no big deal. And I love you all. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, and I'm
Oh, wait,
oh.
before we sign off, I need to get better about plugging. Check out the trailer for my short film that Adam
Yes.
wrote, A Spinning Record. We shot it in my record store, but we haven't released it yet, but there is a trailer for it, so please check it out.
Yes, check that out. That's on my YouTube channel. Both trailers are on there. And you can follow me at Adam Paul Stone on everything across the board. And you can follow our network on TikTok and on Instagram. I think it's at APS_network, I think. I don't know.
Yep.
We'll put it up somewhere. Okay, cool.
That's right.
Awesome. You can follow us on there. We'll be giving little clips from segments from our extended long episodes and things like that, and little updates through the coming weeks about upcoming shows. So anyways, we hope you guys are being safe, and we'll see you on the next one.